Okay, this is Knuckles Chaotix on the Sega 32X. And as you can probably tell, it's it's not exactly a Sonic game, but it's a Sonic-like game. And I think this is where its problem lies, that I think Sega tried to do something a little bit different. They had a new platform and they tried to make a new 2D game that took advantage of little bits of the hardware. And they tried to do something new, and it's something that Sega Sonic Team has done ever since in their games. They've got this idea of controlling more than one character. So with Knights, you've got the two kids and you've got Knights, although you don't really control them at the same time. And then there was Billy Hatcher, where there's you and the egg. Ah, this looks familiar. I'll skip that. That does look a lot like Sonic. But what they tried to do with this is you've got two characters, so instead of having, like with a Sonic game, you have three buttons that do the same thing. If you press B, the second character stays where he is and Knuckles runs. And then if you let go, he does that. He runs after you. But there's also... Wow, that's like big Knuckles. That's almost like Super Mario... So new Super Mario Brothers on the DS. This can be a bit fiddly. So what you've got to do is hold one character and run with the other. I'm not exactly sure what the point of the big Knuckles is, other than to put some sprite scaling in, although it does look quite nice. But while I think it's really quite innovative that you're controlling two characters... Oh, glitch on the cable. It really slows the game down. And I think the levels are really quite colourful and everything, but I just find them they're a bit uninspiring. That they don't have... I know it's not a Sonic game and it's probably better not to think of it as a Sonic game, but they're not that interesting. They're like mazes, almost like the later levels on Sonic games, but there's always a threat there, so it's not really a problem. So you can bounce between the two. But I don't know. In a way, I think it looks a lot like Sonic CD, but it just doesn't have those big open environments, and you chain together with this pain in the arse. I don't know. You could probably tell I've got mixed feelings about this. I like the look of the game. I mean, the colour palette's amazing, but the levels are just a bit uninspiring, and even the later levels in the game, they're all exactly the same in the layouts. It's just they've got different graphics. So how do you do this? You've got to get one character, you throw the other one, and then bounce. In a way, I don't know how long this game was in development for, but you can see, if you look online, there's a demo called, or a prototype called Sonic Crackers, and it's got Sonic and Tails, and the mechanics are very similar to this, and it's meant to be like a beta version of this, if you believe the legends. There's a lot of legends about Sonic games, and some were found to be true with the betas and not. I used to be quite into that years ago. But, I don't know. Oh, come on. I think it's quite bizarre that this game didn't get re-released on any other platforms, and I wonder whether it was... I suppose you could emulate it on new hardware, and I know that the 32X was a very late machine to get emulated properly. Certainly in the late 90s, when the Mega Drive and the SNES were emulated. But I don't know whether Sega just didn't have confidence in this game to re-release it on any of their bundle packs, like on the PS2 or the Xbox, or whether it was just because of it being written for the 32X, it was just not very portable, which is a bit of a shame, really, because I think that I would say there are worse Sonic games. This is probably the worst of the 2D ones. But I think it'd have been really nice to have this on one of those compilation packs. Ah, there we go. I do wonder if Sega had have released this as a standalone game, you know, didn't put Knuckles in it, whether it would have been received differently, because, I mean, swap characters. They were trying to do something new, and I think Donkey Kong kind of did that. But you've got Donkey and Diddy Kong, but you're really just playing as one. It's like the Big Mario, Little Mario, you know, you lose one character, you take over as the next one. But yeah, I don't know, I think if Sega had have perhaps done a sequel to this on the Saturn, and, you know, given it a second go, it might have done better. Yeah, I mean, I love the colour palette on it. All the, I think that was a big limitation on the Mega Drive, that it could only display, what was it, 64 colours out of a palette of 256, I think. Yeah, that makes sense. It's a byte, so it's, yeah, 8-bit colour. That makes sense from the palette. But yeah, I don't know. I just find the levels uninspiring. 'Cause probably out of the Sonic games, I like the first one. I didn't actually like the second one very much. You know, shock horror. Not that it's terrible. I just didn't find it as good. Whereas I thought the third one was a lot closer to the first one, and, you know, clearly Sonic CD's my favourite because it's more like the first one. And this, in a way, is kind of like that. It just, I mean, it's worlds away from Sonic 2. But I think they just went too far in that direction. But, you know, considering that this was an add-on that was meant to do games like Virtua Racing, Virtua Fighter, you know, Polygon, well, these kind of graphics, you know, Sega doing a 2D game, I think, is commendable. This reminds me a lot of both the bonus level on Sonic 2 and the one where you're chasing the orbs on Sonic 3. Cool. It's really weird, there's a really short draw distance, so you've got a lot of pop-up, or pop-in rather. So you're walking along this really long tunnel, but it looks like it's really short. That's weird. And you've got this floaty background. That's me waffling and not paying attention. Right, okay, we get to select. Mighty the Armadillo pretty much is Sonic. Yeah, I forgot about this. You can select your levels. So the idea is you don't have to do them one after the other, you can do them in different orders, which is a little bit like Sonic Generations in a way. I can't remember whether this gives you the character or whether it's some kind of bonus. Yeah, it does give you the character. Sprite scaling, just because you can. I want to do the one in the middle. Yeah, no, yeah, oh well. At least it wasn't the first level again. Oh, Act 2, rather. But you know what I mean. Show a bit of variety. Speed slider. Neutronologic high zone. It's been a while since I played this. I got it a long time ago, and I think back in the late 90s, I mean, retro gaming wasn't really known as retro gaming. It was, you know, people just call it emulation. That I think we all went through the phase of thinking, oh, you can play these old games again on the computer, on the PC. And, you know, there's, you know, certainly an appeal to playing it on the real console, but the 32X wasn't that common. But the main problem was the emulator was really late in coming, and you needed, oh, at least a Pentium, at least a Pentium 2, and I used to run it on a Pentium 1 200 megahertz, and it ran the Mega Drive and the SNES okay, but it didn't run the 32X at a reasonable speed at all. And I remember this being a game that I really wanted to play because I never played it when it first came out. I mean, look at the character. He's Sonic. He is Sonic, but red. I wonder what that guy's listening to. But anyway, yeah, I really wanted to play this game, and this is the reason I picked up the 32X, and I think I was fortunate in that I got it at a time when people hadn't quite gone through the phase of wanting to play games on real hardware, and emulation was good enough. So I got this for about 20 quid off eBay. I know it's worth quite a lot more now, but I don't know if it's worth it. If, you know, paying more than like 40 quid, which would probably be what it was worth when it first came out. Botanic base. This is really nice looking. The colours look a little bit washed out actually. I'm not sure if it's because I'm running it through an RF lead, which is slightly dodgy. That's why it flickers now and again. At least you've not got those... It's kind of odd with this game, random waffling as usual, that the first level you've got all these annoying switches that are not really used for anything other than slowing the game down, but on a level like this, which, almost going against what I said before, feels more like a Sonic game, it actually feels more like Sonic and Knuckles. You've still got this other character chained here. I wish you could just, you know, select and have an option where you just play as one character like you could on Sonic 2. Let's have another crack at this. But yeah, going back to the thing, is it really worth it? I mean, certainly you can play this game full speed under emulation now, so it's probably a good thing just to give it a, you know, a quick test and see if you think it's worth it. 'Cause I mean, I think it's a shame that Sega hasn't re-released this on the Virtual Console or some other compilation, but I think... Oh, go forward. I think, is it worth buying? I don't know, I think if you're a Sonic fan and you've got to have every Sonic game, then yeah, there's a clear need to get this, but I think before you shell out a lot of money on this game, it's probably not a good idea. You probably want to at least test it with an emulator and get a feel for it. It's certainly different. I think if you played, you know, the Sonic games on the Mega Drive and you thought that it was starting to run out of steam and you wanted something different that not the 3D games, then yeah, give it a try. I don't know what happens when you get to the end of these. I've never managed to finish them. Cool. Right, I think I'll leave it there. I'm waffling now. Yeah, I think I've recommended what I was going to recommend. If you can get all of this cheap, it's probably worth picking up. Yeah, I think I'll leave it there. Thanks for watching.